All right, champ, obviously a couple days ago you made a big announcement about wanting to get the fight done with Manny Pacquiao. What kind of prompted you to make a statement about it now?
I think just timing, you know, the right time, the right place, and I think that this fight should happen. I think the time is right and the time is now. For years and years, the public has been lied to. The public has been misled by the other side, which is the B side, because Mayweather Promotions is the A side. Now, if we just turn the table, and I was in the position that Manny Pacquiao is in at this particular time, I wouldn't be able to have any say-so at all. Whereas if I got knocked out, if I took a loss to Timothy Bradley, whether it was a robbery or not, at the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao hand didn't get raised. And there's no disrespect. This interview is no disrespect to the Mexicans, no disrespect to the Filipinos or the Puerto Ricans. It's so crazy when I hear certain things like Cinco de Mayo or is just for the Mexicans or just for the Latinos or something of that nature.
Right.
What I think about it is, last time I checked, any holiday is a holiday that's for everyone. I embrace my Mexican fans just like I embrace my Black American fans, just like I embrace my white fans, my white American fans. I love everybody. I'm very, very thankful for the position that I'm in right now. And I got to where I got to just by making the right moves. And no matter how you cut it, I got to where I got to by winning, being smart, not working harder, working smarter. So, when you hear guys say, I just do it for the fans, that's not true.
Right.
It's totally not true. I do it for a little bit of everything. But once again, like I always say, I'm a prize fighter. The prize comes first.
Let me, if we can kind of go back, only because you touched on the A side versus the B side.
Yes.
I think most diehard boxing fans kind of understand what you're talking about, but I'm not sure if everyone really understands when you start talking about, I'm in this position and he's in that position. Can you kind of go back to probably the last time I remember, you being considered a B side when you fought Oscar De La Hoya?
When I fought Oscar De La Hoya, everyone wants to know what is the A side and the B side. Oscar De La Hoya did make more money for that fight because he's the A side, and I had to respect it. He chose the weight, he chose the gloves, he chose the arena. Basically, he chose everything. All I had to do was show up. He chose the judges, he chose the referee, and my job was to show up as the B side, do what I have to do so I can become the A side and call those same shots that Oscar De La Hoya called when we faced each other.
How how bad did you want that fight at that particular time? I mean, I don't remember, you know, a lot of times you hear, oh, there's a hang up in negotiations because of this, because of that. But when you fought Oscar De La Hoya, like, I don't remember, you know, any issues. It seemed like you agreed to everything he wanted.
I agreed to everything Oscar De La Hoya wanted. Everything. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, in the past, people was like, you know, you hear people say that, you know, from what I hear, Floyd Mayweather is scared of Manny Pacquiao. He's a coward. Me, myself, I don't want to see a coward fight. This is called boxing. And I'm the best at what I do. I always have a strategy. It's not if you win, it's how you win. And people always remember a winner. I always find a way to win. So with my career, they're going to say, no matter what you say, Floyd Mayweather found a way to win.
Right, right. You know, when people say, "Oh, he's a coward," he doesn't.
I laugh about it. You know, I really laugh about it because I say, you know, I don't mind being a rich coward. You know, I'm able to put my kids through the best school. I was able to retire my mother. I'm able to put my dad in a comfortable position. You know, even like with social media and everything. We don't like Floyd, we hate Floyd, but we follow Floyd to comment on Floyd. I'm not going to even take, if it's a person that I don't like, I can care less if what he's doing on Instagram, what he's doing on Twitter, what he's doing on Shots, what he's doing on Facebook.
Well, good thing about Shots is that there's no bullying, so.
Of course, you know, I think everyone should download Shots. You know, you can't, you know, we got to take bullying away, you know, because it's hard, you know, on a young generation, bullying. So I think that that's the great thing about the app Shots. People could either like your picture or they can keep it moving. They can move on to the next. That's what it's about.
You know, when people do say, "Oh, he doesn't want to fight Manny Pacquiao and whatnot," now going back to, I think it was 2009. That's when you came out of retirement and fought.
Well, I don't really want to say just I needed a break from the sport.
Right.
If that's safe to say, it's really not. I really wasn't in retirement. Just a long break. I think that I needed.
Well, when you did come back, you know, you had the fight with Marquez, and then it seemed like right after that you were like, okay, let's do it. Let's make this fight with Manny Pacquiao. And at that time, negotiations started. If I remember correctly, it seemed like everything was going okay until the issue of drug testing was brought up.
Once again, I brought that to the front. And this is not just in boxing, just in sports. I made people aware of being treated fair. To whereas I know myself that anything can happen. But if for a guy to beat me, he must beat me honestly. Do it the right way. Earn it. The same way I got to the top, I earned my stripes by working hard and dedicating myself to my craft. And I think that every other fighter should do the same thing that I did.
Was that something? I mean, obviously, when the negotiations began, I'm assuming that was something that was brought up with everything else.
Actually, what happened what people really want to know, what really happened. With the random blood in your intestine, they wanted to be notified when USADA was coming.
So they didn't want it to be random.
So that's not random.
Right.
They wanted to be notified when USADA was coming. Then, a month before we were going to fight, they said no testing at all. So everyone is keep hearing just one side. And all I got to say, his back is against the ropes now. We all know that he has financial problems. He has problems with those 3 capital letters, which is the IRS. And it's crazy. I mean, it's really, really crazy that people has been misled. And I'm not, and when you hear guys, Oscar is working, he's back working with Bob Arum. So, of course, they're working, as partners because he done Richard Schaefer totally wrong. Richard Schaefer is a great guy. He's a good stand-up, honest guy. And I think that Oscar and Bob is very intimidated by me, Al Heyman, and Richard Schaefer, and Steven Espinoza working together.
Well, I mean, why do you think that is? I mean, they have their network. You have yours. I don't.
I mean, and it's safe to say, I am Showtime. We are the A side, and we can compete against any other network. We will come out on top because we have the best fighters at Showtime.
When
and I'm loyal to who I'm with. When I was with HBO, I was loyal to HBO, and don't have nothing bad to say about HBO to this day. And I just like to do good business. Steven Espinoza, Showtime, CBS have stood up and done everything that they said they would do, and even more. Far as all the extra gifts, I mean, MGM Grand, there's no better hotel. MGM Grand is the best. And I'm not just saying that because I fight at the MGM Grand. I've made a fortune with the MGM Grand. But everything that they said they would do, they did. And that's what I like. I like stand-up people. I like when you stand behind your word.
When you say, or when other people say that Bob Arum is in the way of making this fight happen, I don't know.
I don't mean to cut you off. When
go ahead.
People say Bob Arum is in the way, that's the difference between me and Pacquiao. I'm in control. When I say I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. Pacquiao fights when Bob Arum tells him he has to fight. I fight when I want to fight. I move when I want to move. And that's the great thing about being your own boss and being in control of your own career. It's a great thing about my career. May 2nd, Canelo is a hell of a fighter. But even though he wants to face Cotto May 2nd, I beat both. But Canelo is a hell of a boxer. Cotto is a hell of a boxer. They both are excellent boxers. Both are good punchers. They both are strong guys. But they said that's a Mexican holiday. But the last time I checked, Cotto is Puerto Rican. And I put it like this. Since they feel like May 2nd is a Mexican holiday, you know what? I said, you know what? I respect you guys. Fight in Mexico.
True.
So, fight in Mexico. But Bob Arum is saying that he don't want to fight May 2nd, that's a Mexican holiday. But if I was his fighter, he would be saying, you know what? Whatever Floyd says, let's do it.
Well, and I know that, you know, he actually, I think Manny actually fought in May a couple times too. And that wasn't an issue for Bob then.
I mean,
so.
it wasn't an issue for Bob to put Manny on in May
Right.
before. But now that him and Oscar is back, buddy, and he really has, I mean, he got Triple G.
No, he does not have Triple G.
I don't know who he's with.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that's Tom Loeffler, that K2 Promotions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't really know who Bob has.
Right.
I know he do has. I do know he have Manny Pacquiao. I'm really not sure who else, what other fighters that he have. And it's so crazy. And I look at Jesse Vargas.
Your former fighter.
Yeah, and you know, it's nothing but respect. You know, I don't have anything bad to say about Jesse Vargas. But from what I hear is that he's trying to match Pacquiao and Jesse Vargas. I'm not against it. You know, I'm not against it. But it's so crazy. How can you match those two? Just look at the pay-per-view numbers.
Right.
Y'all scratching. Y'all clawing. Y'all fighting for 300,000 homes. To where everyone says, well, Floyd is not doing 1 million homes like he used to. But I got you people paying more for pay-per-view. So when it's all said and done, I'm still winning. So I'm still doing the numbers that I'm expected to do. You know, I'm capable of having a bad pay-per-view night, but I'm not going to have 6 bad pay-per-view nights. And what's so crazy is, I mean, the last time I checked, I hold the record for pay-per-view.
You do?
I hold the record for grossing
You do?
the highest gate.
You do?
I hold the record for making the most money in one night. And the list goes on and on. And so when you think about what's going on out here in the world today, far as racism, it's a lot of racism that goes on in a sport of boxing. Because if I was a white American fighter with the same aura, the same style, the same pizzazz, I'd be a multi-billionaire. Multi-billionaire. So when you look at what goes on in Ferguson, what goes on in New York City, and what goes on just in America in today's time, you know, I try not to get in anyone else's business because I don't really want people in my business. But it's crazy. I just sit back and just think that it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's totally crazy.
Well, you're right about the sport of boxing being very racist still. Very, very racist. It's probably one of the last bastions of racism out there.
I mean, you just look at, I mean, like you, for instance. I give you interviews. I talk because you gave me a fair shake when no one else wanted to give me you gave me a fair shake when no one else wanted to give me a fair shake. But if you Google Floyd Mayweather name, you will see an article that some some other writer wrote that don't know anything about boxing, to whereas you are a student and you're steady learning, and you're not afraid to say, I'm still learning about the sport of boxing, Floyd. Can you enlighten me on this? Because you really do your due diligence and do your homework with what's going on.
Right.
But let's just, what the fans should do, I want what everybody should do. Look at his pay-per-view numbers and look at my pay-per-view numbers. You know, I showed a couple checks to social media. Those were just a couple checks. I think it was 70-something million. I mean, you know, I got people that used to work in Pacquiao camp that now works in my camp. So I know the truth about his checks, and I know the truth about other things that I'm not going to even speak on.
We're not going to go there for this interview.
I'll see y'all in a few minutes.